Um, we have our supercharger stations throughout Germany now, almost 50 locations throughout Germany, and then throughout the rest of Europe as well, so that somebody can travel rapidly anywhere in Europe using our supercharger stations, which allow a very quick charge. As I've said before, our supercharger network is not intended to be a walled garden. It's intended to be available to other manufacturers if they'd like to use it. The only requirements are that the cars must be able to take the output of our superchargers and then just pay whatever their proportion of usage is. We're actually in talks with some manufacturers about doing just that, and it'll be exciting to share that news. The general philosophy of Tesla is to do whatever we can to accelerate the advent of electric cars. So whether it's with our supercharging network or with the technology we develop, where we've open sourced all of our patents, so anyone who wants to use our patents can do so for free. The general philosophy is to try to help other companies make electric cars, compelling electric cars. Actually, we also did a number of programs with Daimler. One program is still underway, which is the electric B-Class. So some of you may have had a chance to see that or drive that. That program is still in effect. And electric cars like the electric B-Class or the Model S or the Model X that we're coming out with soon are really the key to a sustainable future. It's incredibly important that we transition away from fossil fuels and any kind of CO2 creating vehicle, and CO2 and nitrous oxide and other issues that the vehicles create. All of the toxic emissions that come from burning hydrocarbons towards something that within cities is zero emissions, and then at the power generation level is also zero emissions. Now to solve the generation at power level with zero emissions, of course, there needs to be solar, wind, geothermal, tidal, and hydro. So those are the things that are zero emissions and also are sustainable in the long term without significant harm to the environment. Germany is a leader, in fact, the world leader in solar power, which is, I think, an excellent example to the rest of the world. And really, I think the rest of the world, in a lot of places, is not even aware of that. So wherever I go, I actually point out just how excellent an example Germany is in its use of solar power. So I was in Luxembourg and Denmark, and just pointing out, Germany is the leader in absolute terms, not even per capita, in solar power. So I think it's amazing what Germany has done in this regard, and people in Germany should be very proud of that. The obvious issue with the level of solar power, depending upon where it is in Germany, is buffering of that power. So at times, there's been so much power generated that you've had to pay your neighbors to take the power, which I think maybe is not such a popular thing. The solutions to excess solar power are, of course, to have electric cars to absorb that power. So if Germany actually had more electric cars, it could more effectively use the power that is generated from its solar panels. And then on top of that, there is stationary storage, which is very important. So Tesla is producing a stationary storage, a battery pack, essentially, that is able to buffer power at large scale. So both locally at the domestic level, at the household level, and with an industrial scale and a utility scale. Sometimes people put a little bit more attention on our consumer product, which is the power wall, but this is actually a small portion of our business. The power pack, which is about the size of a refrigerator, is the main part of our business. That's probably 80 to maybe 90% of our business is the power pack, because that can handle very large amounts of power. And we see, in fact, Germany as a very important market, probably our biggest market internationally for our stationary storage packs, because it's an immediate assistance to the solar power generation. So overall, I think the future is very positive. The keys, though, to get there sooner are for all car companies to make more serious investments in electric vehicles, and of course with the stationary storage as well. So Tesla is one company, but really Tesla is too small to do this alone. It can only be done if the big car companies make serious investments in electric vehicles, and if they're interested also in battery stationary storage. And with that, the increase in solar power can continue because it can be buffered by the battery packs, and increases in wind power as well. And the net result is, if you fast forward into the future, you can have a future where the energy is sustainable and green, that's stored in battery packs, and that's used by electric vehicles for transport. Then you have a complete solution from generation to usage, and without pollution, and that's the beautiful future, really, that we should all be aiming for. And I think anything that you can do to accelerate that future is a good thing. Thank you.